Baseball continues to swing away this season, but how did they fare on their first road test?
In men's swimming race for NCAA championships, we take a look at their medal count, this and more on Sports Night in Auburn.
Good evening and welcome to Sports Night in Auburn. I'm Hayden Desmond.
And I'm Aaliyah Smith. Thanks for tuning in tonight.
Baseball hit the road last week for their first road trip of the season. The Tigers went 1-3 in their first 4 games of the road trip, but they look to close out their road trip with a win in the Capital City Classic against rival Alabama. Will Holland led the Tigers, hitting a pair of home runs to give Auburn a 5-2 win over Alabama in Montgomery, and the win marks Auburn's 9th win in 10 meetings with the Tide in Montgomery. It is also the Tigers' 4th straight win in the Capital City Classic.
With their 3 road losses last week, Auburn fell from number 6 to number 9 in this week's Baseball America poll. Auburn currently is 4-3 against top 25 opponents and 3-3 in SEC play.
Softball looked to get their second SEC series win last weekend. Last weekend, softball swept the Kentucky Wildcats in a 3-game series. The Tigers extended their SEC home record to 5 games after winning the series versus Alabama. The Tigers welcomed Kentucky to the Plains for a 3-game series, and Auburn would end up sweeping the Wildcats throughout the weekend, defeating Kentucky 3-1, 1-0, and 6-4. The series was highlighted by Saturday's game where Auburn won 1-0 in 12 innings, as the game would remain scoreless until Auburn's Tannen Snow stepped to the plate in the bottom of the 12th inning, belting a walk-off home run to lift the Tigers to victory. After this weekend, Auburn's record improves to 31-6 overall and 5-4 in SEC play.
So, what are your thoughts on the season going on so far with baseball and softball?
You know, I think baseball and softball are both playing really well, and it's really good for the university. So, yeah.
Definitely. Well, we'll be right back with both Auburn teams excelling on the diamond. Auburn swimming was closing out their 2017-2018 season.
A look at how the men's swim team did at the NCAA championships after this.
This is a place where it only takes a second to imagine your future. Grasp a new concept in class. Inspire a child's curiosity. Discover a real-world solution. Seize an unexpected opportunity.
There goes Davis!
This is where you gain the preparation, confidence, and determination to succeed. This is Auburn.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Men's swimming dove into the pool one last time this season in Minneapolis at the NCAA championships. The Tigers would finish the meet in 12th place, with Texas claiming their 4th straight national title. And over the course of the week, Auburn would haul in 20 All-American honors from 8 individuals. Zach Applewood headlined the honors for Auburn, earning 5 All-American nods, and Applewood also claimed 3rd in the 200 freestyle.
Women's tennis returned home Saturday, where they would welcome number 18 Florida. Auburn started fast, getting a 6-2 victory from Jada Daniel and Andy D. Florida would respond, winning the remaining double matches. In singles, Taylor Russo kept Auburn alive, beating Florida's Victoria Emma 6-3 to 6-3. Florida would go on to win the match 4-1, getting wins from Anna D, McCartney, Kessler, and Katie Cubitt. With the loss, the Tigers dropped 4-3 in SEC play.
Men's tennis was also back on home court this weekend, welcoming Kentucky Friday and hosting Vanderbilt and Alabama State on Sunday. Auburn would ultimately go 1-2 on the weekend, losing to Kentucky 5-2 and Vandy 4-2, and Auburn's lone victory was a 5-0 defeat of Alabama State. With the losses to Kentucky and Vanderbilt, Auburn falls to 0-6 in conference play.
Gymnastics took the floor one last time in SEC competition. We take a look at how they fared in the SEC championships this weekend.
And who do you think is this week's Player of the Week? We'll reveal our pick after this.
Fans, direct your attention to the flagpole for a special presentation.
You never really leave Auburn, because Auburn never leaves you. So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
I hope that you've been able to learn a strong work ethic surrounded by character, integrity, perseverance, so that when your 1 second comes, you'll be prepared for it.
Chris Davis.
45, there goes Davis!
Your 1 second, our 1 second is now. And our lives have been guided by the principles of one of the greatest academic institutions in the country, Auburn University.
Even though the Tigers have been racing for gold all winter long, Auburn hit the track in Tallahassee for their first outdoor meet of the season. Auburn would walk away from the Florida State relays with 10 medals, with 8 from field events. Jacayla Hand and Deja Hillman headlined the meet for the Tigers, claiming gold and silver in the women's triple jump.
Gymnastics looked to close out their disappointing season on a high note at the SEC competition Saturday. Auburn would end up scoring 195.650 in St. Louis. That score would land the Tigers in 8th place. Drew Watson, Gracie Day, and Samantha Serio would capture all SEC honors as well for their performances on the ball and bars.
This week's Player of the Week is Zach Apple. Apple broke the Auburn school record in the 200-meter freestyle and finished 3rd in the NCAA National Championships and was awarded All-American honors. Auburn may be out of the big dance, but there are 4 teams still dancing in this year's NCAA tournament.
A look at this year's Final Four coming up.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
This year's March Madness is closing in on its 3rd and final weekend of play. And so far, this year's tournament has been full of chaos.
We are finally down to the last 4 teams who will compete this weekend in San Antonio in hopes of leaving with a national title. But who are they, and who did they beat to get there? Let's take a look at the teams you will be seeing a lot of this weekend.
All right, coming out of the South region is number 11, Loyola Chicago, led by national icon Sister Jean. The Ramblers have defeated number 6, Miami, number 3, Tennessee, number 7, Nevada, and number 9, Kansas State. This is Loyola's first Final Four appearance since 1963, where they went on to win the national title.
Coming out of the West region is number 3 Michigan. On their way to the Final Four, Michigan has defeated number 14 Montana, number 6 Houston, number 7 Texas A&M, and number 9 Florida State. This is the Wolverines' first Final Four appearance since 2013, as Michigan would go on to lose in the national title game to Louisville that season.
Out of the East comes number 1 Villanova. The Wildcats come into the Final Four after defeating number 16 Radford, number 9 Alabama, number 5 West Virginia, and number 3 Texas Tech. Villanova has not been in the Final Four since 2016, the season where the Wildcats went on to win the national title.
Finally, out of the Midwest is number 1 Kansas. The Jayhawks made their way to San Antonio, defeating number 16 Penn, number 9 Seton Hall, number 5 Clemson, and number 2 Duke. This is their first Final Four appearance since 2012, and Kansas would go on to lose to Kentucky in the national title game that year.
So to recap, this year's Final Four is Loyola Chicago, Michigan, Villanova, and Kansas. Loyola will face Michigan, and Villanova will take on Kansas in the semifinal games.
Out of the millions of brackets filled out, only 54 brackets picked the Final Four correctly.
All right, so I have been a huge fan of Sister Jean this whole tournament, and I think it's so funny how Jalen Rose put his grandma, 100-year-old grandma, on Instagram saying, "It's been a good ride, Sister Jean, but it's over Saturday." I thought that was just so hilarious.
I definitely am rooting for the underdog in that game, but my pick for the national title is Villanova. I've been riding with them since I turned in my bracket to ESPN the first day.
All right, to stay updated with your favorite Auburn teams, go to our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, or follow us on Twitter at EETV_sports.
I'm Hayden Desmond.
And I'm Aaliyah Smith.
From all of us here at Sports Night in Auburn, thank you for joining us this evening. Good night.
Open road, here comes the Heffley family.
Whether it's a short trip or a long haul.
Estimated time, 47 hours.
They will beg.
You're hungry? I'm happy to provide.
They will plead.
Deep fried butter on a stick.
But whatever you do, don't wimp out.
Now you're talking?
Make them buckle up.
He can't hurt.
Remember, safety first. Cheese curls second.
Are you orange?
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.